introduction about yourself would be fantastic.
Well, my name is Alok. I look after the host in the academy in the region. I'm supporting them for learning and talent development. But today, I want to focus on technology. Technology is the new name for the erstwhile IT. The reason I want to support that because I'm just so passionate about technology. The whole bank actually has gone digital, and in fact I have a beautiful phrase for you to catch. Once upon a time the customer used to go to the bank. Today the bank goes to the customer, and not only to the customer, in the pocket, in the palm. That's where the bank is going. So today I'm going to share about my experience in supporting technology's transformation.
And everyone seems to know how to go agile, how to do it, but few people know how to implement it and train people on it or create that transformation. So I'm going to sort of step back and ask you the question that for the particular business that you've been working with, what was the exact problem statement that you were trying to solve?
Sure. Can I give you a problem word?
Mm-hmm.
Impossible. Impossible is the word which came to my mind when I was approached to do this whole transformation of Agile. Why impossible? Impossible, I didn't know about Agile. Impossible because they were trying to get about 5,000 people trained in 12 months. Impossible because we didn't have the solution. So I was like, how are you going to do that? And obviously, unlike other programs like leadership and sales management transformation, I did not have a clue of Agile. This was 2 years back. So impossible was the word which came to my mind. How am I gonna do this transformation in the whole of Asia Pac in just 12 months, Gunjan? See, the problem is actually much more wider, because today if you look at a simple example like Kodak or Nokia, why did they become extinct? Why did they become history? The simple reason was they did not change based on the requirements of the market. They were not responsive enough. So if you want to remember one word about Agile, it is a way to be responsive. Now, if we are not responding to the changes in the external environment, sooner we will become another Kodak and Nokia. So that was a burning need, and I don't think so we have a choice over there.
What were the kind of learning solutions you proposed to overcome this problem?
Now, the good thing was that learning was clear. We really had to train people on Agile, so it's not that we had to create the solution. The challenge over here was to cover so many people and make the change really happen, because it goes to the fundamental of organization change and organization effectiveness. How does change gets embedded in the culture, in the softer fabric of the organization? That's the challenge, because change is change, and you can do 1,000 classes, you can cover 1,000 people, but has it really gone in? And I would like to take you a little bit into human psychology. It is habit formation. Now, culture formation is closely linked to habit formation, and these things takes time. So obviously, in terms of alternatives, we really had to make it holistic. We really had to make a journey. So what we did was, first of all, we got the senior management to give those messages. This is the future. This is the way we are going. There's no question about it. That was clear. So what we did was a massive event in a massive hotel called Ritz-Carlton. That was really fun. We called all the line managers in Hong Kong, and the messages were given to them in a very clear way. Now, what people hate is not change. What people really hate is ambiguity. What people hate is uncertainty. But when leaders can give that clear messages, they show that clarity of thought, then people know that's the way to go. So some may not like it, but then they don't have a choice. So sooner or later, they process and they digest it. So number one was that leader messaging, which is clearly very important from any organization change perspective. Number two, we got about doing awareness sessions. We went across all the people, and we had almost 100 per average in a workshop. Well, not really a workshop, more like a keynote. And this is what really helped cover the whole spectrum, that what is agile, why is agile relevant, because we need to first tell people the why and the what before we empower them with the how. So that was our second step to bring about the change. The third step was we put in people through classroom training. Now classroom training was divided into foundation skills, people who are going to be part of the agile project, and the second was specialized courses. After we did that, now change will take time, because what happens is what you learn in the classroom you forget. Now we didn't want that, so we put coaches on the floor, and we had given them coaching support for over 12 months. Now just to clarify, this coaching is not the traditional executive coaching. This is more agile coaching, which is more technical coaching, where these people observe how people are doing, occasionally teach, and they ensure that you're following the agile methodologies. In this case, what we follow is Scrum, DevOps, and Kanban, to the way it should be followed. So after doing this 5 different approaches, and if I may use the word 5 different touch points, we started seeing the change.
Just so that my colleagues and learning specialists benefit from them, are there any tips or any suggestions you want to give?
Sure. No, thank you very much for that. Before I speak about vendors and I speak about the resources my colleagues can go, can I take a moment to give some statistics, some results, some outcomes? Obviously I did kind of touch upon the numbers of people we covered. We covered 2,000 people through awareness sessions. We covered almost 1,600 people through coaching sessions, but we also covered 5,000 people through e-learnings and digital learning solutions. But most importantly, there was about 12 months of coaching. Now this is all the change management which I helped lead. But more importantly, what has changes today, if you look at the way we are churning out digital solution, an example is the Hong Kong app. We used to have those iteration maybe twice in a year. Today you see an iteration every second fortnight. Now that is so powerful, because agile means the iterations start coming at a constant churn. Now the point I'm trying to make, all these are a result of the agile change we are bringing about. I obviously can't take credit for all of it, but I can take credit for part of it. So it's huge, is the way to go, and that is what agile does. Now most importantly, coming to my colleagues in learning around the world, I managed to learn agile in such a beautiful way that today I've become a thought leader in agile. I've been telling people how to go agile. In fact, I have created the whole roadmap for transformation team to go agile. But most importantly, I'm practicing agile in the learning team. How do I do that? I'm following the Scrum methodology, more about it later, but where we have a Triad structure very quickly. And I follow the role of a Scrum Master who's a problem solver. And in every project I take up in learning, I have the business person as the product owner, and obviously I have my GP counterpart as a development team. So with this beautiful Triad structure, I'm able to bring Agile to life in learning. So that's a quick tip I want to touch about, that Agile is relevant to everyone. Agile is something which is very powerful and all of us can use it.
How did you make sure you had the right vendor to deploy this?
And I'm going to just talk about vendors in a very quick way, because obviously that was a lot of work, but what really worked for us is getting more locally relevant vendors. Yes, we did use the global vendors in the beginning, but we still renegotiated the contract with the global vendors. So I not only managed to save costs, but I also managed to get locally, culturally sensitive vendors. So at the end, I want to leave this thought for my colleagues across the world. And Agile obviously is a fad for some, it is Greek for some, it is different things for different people. But I'm going to empower you with one line statement of what the whole Agile thing is. So here it comes. Agile is a mindset defined by 4 values, driven by 12 principles, and manifested by a number of practices.
Thank you. Thank you, Alok. That was really good.